And welcome, race fans, to a Wednesday night of all nights. It's been a long time coming since we've had the opportunity to call a race on a Wednesday night. Sorry, I still have my in-game voice. That's the life of a racer and broadcaster. It's been a long time coming since we have had the opportunity to call a race on Wednesday night. Been about a month and a half. But we are back where we started, back on dirt. Oh, glorious dirt. The nerds have come back to the dirt side. Again, we are at one of my co-host's favorite tracks, even though we attempted to run this yesterday and did not fare too well at it. Apparently, we need to get out of the booth and behind the driver's seat a little bit more, but we'll work on that later. But nonetheless, it's a home track for him. We are actually visiting Volusia Speedway Park again. So this is down in Florida, right around Mr. Stanley's neck of the woods. Should be a good race. It's a fast track. It's got a lot of room for racing. Speaking of Stanley, again, I gotta bring him in on this. None other than the legend, the myth, the man, Mr. J Stan, Jeremy Stanley, calling the shots flag to flag with me tonight. How you doing, buddy?
It's dirt, baby. I'm doing great, man. I'm super excited. Volusia, I've been here in real life a couple times and love this place. I thought I was good at this place until last night. They gave me a huge reality check, and now I'm just here doing homework and calling the shots with you tonight.
Yeah, they definitely sent us back to school for sure on that one. There are a lot of fast guys. We're getting some notes for the race tonight. Yesterday's race being an fixed setup league. Tonight they get to bring their own equipment. They get to bring their own setups, and they're really going to show you how it's done. If it's anything like last season, Jeremy, this season here is posed to be an excellent season opener race right now, and we are showing 20 cars are looking to take qualifying time and take the grid to see if they can't take away the big money, the first season opening win, a main win for the Mini Motorsport Doors 35. Should be a hell of a show, Jeremy.
Yeah, 20 cars. Need cars when you have an off season, especially at a month and a half long, that you do some recruiting and. Yeah, brought in a lot of new talent. Hopefully it puts on a hell of a show for sure. I'm super excited to see what the new guys got in store versus these veterans. We know the veterans from the first season. They know how to do it in the real life and on the sim. So it's just super excited all the way around to watch this one.
Yeah, and we will be having a lot of those drivers coming back from last season. One of those being the defending well, and they're coming back to try to knock the king, so to speak, off his throne, is usually how it goes. Defending champion typically always has guys behind him that have just as much to prove. So it's going to be definitely going to be a really good show coming up to that. So with that being said, Jeremy, we have a lot of new things going on. Obviously, we have new broadcasts going on. We do monitor the chats. We want to let you guys know we monitor the chats all race long. We want to hear what you guys have to say. Mind you, we do have sponsors watching. Keep it PG, maybe PG-13, depending on how bad it is. But otherwise, I mean, keep it clean, keep it fun. We give a shout out. I do see that Mr. Joe Garcia will be catching the big blocks again, so shout out to him. And we do have Hager on there from Twitch saying, "What's up, guys?" Hey, you're seeing it, baby. We're calling some racing. We got some people watching. We're going to have a good time tonight. So, again, call out who you think is going to take a heat win, who you think is going to be the man to beat, so to speak. Who's you rooting for? Let us know. We love shouting it out. As you see, these drivers right now, Jeremy, are starting to take their time. Now, we do have to remind you that this is a little different than some of the other broadcasts that we do call. This is dirt. This is not asphalt. So just because somebody goes out and pulls a quick time, that does not mean that's where they're going to be starting in the A main. The quick time is only to set up the starting grid for the heat races. Where you finish in the heat races, that's going to determine where you start in the A main. So want to give a shout out to Tyler Bentley as well, saying, "Hey fellas, how y'all doing tonight? We are doing fantastic. We're here calling a race, Gotta have 2 nights of racing going on, so it's going to be great. Overall, Jeremy, what are your expectations for what is your home track?
Well, seeing the top 10 qualifying drivers are within 2/10 of each other, that tells me they're going to be door to door for the most part of this race. Track last night, observing it, kind of like it pushes out wide and the bottom just gets too slick. I used to see some cars maybe try the bottom, but for whatever reason, the outside just gets a little bit further extended out on this newer build or whatnot. So, high line is going to be the preferred line, I do imagine. And between the mix of all the new and old drivers in here, it's I can't tell you for sure, but I know it's going to be exciting nonetheless.
Yeah, and something else too, we don't have this on a lot of tracks, but Volusia is one of those tracks that we do have that. We do have that wall opening on that long gaping backstretch as well that did pose an issue for a couple drivers. I do believe one driver last night actually went flying up and over it, and iRacing said bye-bye, we're going to pull a Houdini act, and the car just disappeared. So again, that is something that we do have. Some of the other aspects of this track going into turn 1, like you were saying, a lot of room, a lot of wide gaping corners going into turn 1. Turn 4, on the other hand, can be a little bit tricky because it does come from a wide gaping one and down a very straight front stretch. A lot of pinch spots going on there. We've seen a lot of people go into the corner, and it was 3 wide, but there really wasn't as much room or enough room to slide around coming off of turn 4. Definitely caused some issues. So a couple things to keep your eyes on. We're going to try to stay up to date and on all the action, but as you guys remember from last season, it's dirt racing, baby, and there's action all over the place. Wouldn't expect anything else. As qualifying's winding down, Jeremy, I think it's probably time that we probably take a look at the starting grid right now to kind of see who got quick time and see where everybody's kind of lining up.
Yeah, Mr. Shane Yates, he actually won one of the events last night. Looks like he took the pole position by a hundredth of a second over Chris Airberly, if I pronounced that correctly. Third place would be Jason Gunnels. Fourth, Dane Lloyd. Fifth, a newcomer, Jackie Whaley. Sixth, Swede Melgard. Seventh, Dylan Simmons. Eighth, Brandon Verasso. Ninth, John Nolan. 10th, Marco Mitchell. 10th, Christopher Hill. 11th is your Zach Burnett, the one you called out earlier, sitting at 11th place. So it's only a 10th and a half, but 11th place is not a good place to start. He's got a lot of work to do in that heat race. Number 1, I would imagine he's going to be placed in. Justin Simmons in 12th. Cody Heathcock 13th. Andrew Justin 14th. Wade Burrs 15th. Austin Yates 15th. 16th will be Jonathan Henry. 17th, Joshua Pack. And to round up the field, David Hester.
That's Lester. But you know what? I'm all right with Hester as well. Bears fan, so it's all good. It's what that's telling me, Jeremy, right now is they're winding down on qualifying. Now they do have a little bit of a longer qualifying set going on just to give drivers a little extra time. But you were talking about Zach Burnett being back in 11th place right now as the grid shows him. Actually 12th, got knocked back one. Sitting 12th. That tells you there's a lot of fast drivers. I mean, these times are super close. I mean, that is a very close field. There's a lot of fast drivers going on, which means there's going to be a lot of fast action, a lot of close action. It's going to be interesting enough to see what's going on because, like you said, we have a couple drivers in here that we haven't seen race yet. We have a lot of returning veterans, and I would be led to believe that we are going to see the same thing for the big blocks coming up after this race as well. By the way, if you didn't know, Wednesday nights are doubleheader nights, so we have not only one, but 2 dirt races to bring some action to you, as well as the big blocks will be following up after a short intermission with the Nerditudes Street Stock Series. But I would expect nothing less than to have a number of returning drivers in the big block modified series as well. But we do have some dark horses in there, some unknowns, some variables, so to speak, with a number of drivers that we have not seen race from last season. nothing wrong with that, because there was a lot of drivers that came in late last season, Jeremy, if you remember, and they definitely stepped up the competition level for the entire league for the better, and it made for some damn good racing.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, they had a couple drivers that left after a couple races into the season, and then the drivers that were there just kind of grouped up and became really good. And we mentioned it throughout the season that, quality over quantity type deal. And they brought that toward the end of the season for sure. So seeing 20 drivers, if they can bring that same quality of racing with this amount of number of drivers each and every week, I mean, I'm going to be stoked to call every single race this season, even on the big block side too. Yeah, we're probably going to see a lot of new faces there as well, some different ones, some new ones yet again. So it's hard to tell. I know everyone's excited. It's been 6 weeks since they've turned on a dirt car in this series, or this league rather. So let's get it going.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be good all the way around. And as qualifying is winding down, admins are doing their last checks. We do want to shout out to series sponsors as well, because without them, we would not be here doing what we love to do, which is sitting side by side. Well, as side by side as you can get, separated by about 1,300 miles, right, Jeremy? But we get to sit side by side here and call some excellent racing action. So again, returning from last season, Mini Motorsport Doors. Again, this has been a commonplace sponsor for Over the Limit. They do fantastic work for novelty race doors. They do come in two different sizes, 11 inches and 21 inches, and I do believe they're $15 and $30 respectively on that, but you can get them customized with any type of graphics you want. You can get them customized with real race driver graphics, your sim race car graphics. You can get them customized with the picture of your puppy dog if you wanted to. It doesn't really matter. It would be your call, but the craftsmanship is fantastic to say the least. Give them a check out on Facebook. Again, that's facebook.com/Mini Motorsport Doors. We want to thank again, as you can see behind me, and the presenter of the Nerd TV pre-race show presented by Martin Sports. We want to give a big shout out and thank you to Martin Sports. Martin Sports is an apparel provider. They make top-notch, top-quality apparel items. Folks, these guys drop a lot of R&D into their material to make sure it is strong enough to withstand anything you can throw at it, to make sure it's comfortable enough to be able to perform the way that you need to perform to sim racing gloves. These are some of the best sim racing gloves that you can get your hands in, not on, in. A lot of drivers swear by them. Some of these drivers, before they even put them on, were not in ownership over at the company. So again, go and take a look at what they have. Again, you will not be disappointed. That's Martin Sports. Go visit them, martinsportsapparel.com. We want to thank Butt Kicker as well. Again, Butt Kicker, the official audio sponsor for Nerditudes and Nerd TV, coming on board. Again, use affiliate link thebuttkicker.com/AFF equals 35. That is the official affiliate link for Nerditudes and Nerd TV. Take a look at what they have. Again, it's a very cost-efficient, cost-effective way to increase the realism and the feel of your sim racing rig at home. These things are solid products. I actually have one right down here that will be getting reviewed here very, very soon. And I'm telling you what, I could probably knock Jeremy up over the head with one of these things here, and he probably would not wake up. I mean, it is a solid, solid product. And the sound quality and for what it does is even better. So again, check them out. That's Butt Kicker, thebuttkicker.com. So with that being said, Jeremy, we're about at that point in time now where we're about to get this show on the road, because we got some heat races going on, and we got some very, very fast drivers. And I see a lot of people starting to come in, and that's what we love to see, Jeremy. We got the chat channels really lighting up right now. Hot Wired Racing says Shane's good. You got Jason Gunnell, Shane Yates, good luck tonight. Joe Garcia, again, saying I'll be there with the big blocks. Gunnels, again, going on. So obviously the Shane Yates fan club is in the house and is present.
That's great to hear. Keep it going, guys, for sure. We got 4 heat races tonight. That'll determine your positions for the main event. Right now, we line it up. We have Shane Yates, Jackie Whaley, John Nolan, Justin Simmons, and Austin Yates. So a couple of Yates out there in the first heat. They're taking the field right now. That'll be about 2 laps of pacing before they take the green flag for the first time in the Open Series here on Wednesday. Head over the limit. So I know these guys are anxious and really wanting to get at it. We'll see what they brung, man. This is your practice time. This is what you need to do to feel out your car with others in close quarters. And there you go. Pace trucks rolling. I'm getting excited, Dustin. How about you?
Yeah, this has been a long time coming. Again, on this one here, a lot of very sexy looking paint schemes out there.
Absolutely.
It's been a long time since we've had the chance to see some dirt paint schemes. I can't wait to get it done. Now, again, this is a heat race, so the finishing results here are going to set the starting order for the A main. We also want to let you folks know that there are no cautions in heat races. What happens, happens. So if there's contact made, it's just best to stay in the throttle and keep it going to try to get the best position you possibly can.
Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, no cautions whatsoever, even if it's right in front of the field. It does not matter. So yeah, just gotta rip it, get what you can out of it, and try to get the best position possible. Sometimes those accidents happen, and it's unfortunate, but that's what it's a heat race for. You know, you're not out of the race. You got a clean repair going back into the main event. So no harm, no foul. You just have to do a little extra work, right? So yeah, awesome paint jobs here though. Chrome out here, that's going to get real dirty. I would highly imagine real quick. Waiting for that pace truck to dip down. North area goes right now, waiting on the green flag. It is out. Shane Yates takes the lead on this restart. And actually, the outside Jackie Whaley with a really good start there. Side by side, basically. He had a little mess up there in turn 1. He pushes up real high. It's going to give the advantage to Shane Yates. He does clear the bumper of Jackie, and the instead of John Nolan here, you're going to try to push that inside real early before that starts kicking in, Dustin.
Yeah, so Jackie's definitely trying to chase down. Little contact between Jackie and Nolan, so Jackie and Johnny not getting a little touchy-feely there, but that's all right because this is dirt racing, and that's what we love to see because that means they're racing hard. But again, Nolan still has that nose on the inside of the 720 of Jackie Whaley. Finally, Whaley does clear that and now sets his sights on the 11 of Shane Yates, who has gotten very comfortable out there. But again, the 117 of Nolan is not given up. You do have the 33 of Austin Yates is under pressure with the 10 of Justin Simmons in the 033 under pressure from Austin Yates. Getting the numbers all flip-flopped here, Jeremy. You can tell it's been 6 weeks off. But either way, racing is hard and heavy.
Especially for the lead right now as they are side by side. Jackie's got that inside line, and as that track develops itself further and further, that inside line will not be there. You can actually see some slickness already building up on the entrance of turn 1. And that did affect Jackie there a little bit, and he did have to shove back to second place solely, and John Nolan wants to take advantage and try to pass him entering the final lap of the first heat race here of the brand new season. He just can't get that grip, Dustin, off the bottom of turn 4. Real slick already early on, and Jackie Will is going to take sole position of second place over him. One last little dive here into turn 3 to see if he can't do anything. He does shove it low, blocks the run on John. It's not going to be enough, though. Shane Yates will take the win in heat race number 1.
Now, one thing to remember on this one here is all these drivers were right there in the same pack. I mean, essentially nose to tail. That's how close this driving is, folks. You're about to see some crazy, fast and fun racing. And as you can tell, these drivers can beat and bang off each other. As you seen Whaley and Nolan make contact there. That's not uncommon. A lot of these drivers, they don't use mirrors. These cars by nature don't have mirrors in them. They're all going by sound on that. So spotters, anything else doesn't mean diddly squat. So get used to and accustomed to seeing contact like that. It's going to happen because that's dirt racing.
Oh yeah, I know some guys do use that virtual mirror that iRacing does give them, and some don't. They like the realistic feel, so it's it's personal preference when it comes to being on a sim. Take a look at Chris, your starting lead position here. That car looks mean and evil with those headlight covers, look bright red and a little green grill. That's pretty impressive looking. I do like that. We do have 5 cars taking grid on for heat race number 2. Swede Melgaard's going to be in second. Marco Mitchell in third, Cody Heathcock in fourth, and then Jonathan Henry's going to round out this field for the second heat race.
Yeah, so again, we do got a lot of returning drivers here in this one. So far, most out of all the heats that we do have, have had, which is only the second heat. Swede Melgaard returning from last season, Cody Heathcock returning from last season, and that 7H of Jonathan Henry returning from last season as well. So again, should be a very good race here. A lot of fast cars, and kind of interested to see what some of these newer drivers have to offer. Some of these series and season veterans here. Those new drivers being Chris Eberly and Mark Mitchell. Pace truck is off. Green flag does fly. Excellent start by the 0-1 of Eberly on the inside. Swede Melgaard still keeping pressure on that outside, as we've seen from the last race. Little bit of contact made back and forth. Big contact made. Wall contact. Swede Melgaard up on his wheels. 0-1 goes around. Again, no cautions on this one here. It is a heat race. That is a hard lick. There's again, the 0-1 came out on the tough end of that one, as Swede Melgaard was able to continue on. Don't know what the damage is on that one there, but he is continuing on, as now he's given pressure on the inside of the 7H of Jonathan Henry, as he now takes over third place. Up at the front, Mark Mitchell on the inside. Crossover move by the 194 of Heathcock. Heathcock comes right back on the inside trying to take it back over. These two are duking it out, going side by side. That's the 194 of Heathcock on the low side. That's a 07 of Mark Mitchell on that midline, now the high side. And these guys are nose to nose as they go in. 2 separate lines, but it does look like Mitchell may prevail on the exit of this corner, Jeremy.
2.5 laps remaining in heat race number 2, and yeah, that was a big, heavy impact there, and it did not affect Swede Melgaard for whatever reason. He is in second place and approaching Marco for that lead right now. Marco's got a really strong car. As we raced with him last night, we did notate that, and he's showing no different here tonight. But here's Swede on the back bumper of Marco. I think if he just pushed him up the track just enough, I think he might be able to get him, Dustin, as he goes into the final lap here. Almost side by side. It's just not enough grip for him to keep maintaining that position on the inside rear bumper, and he just falls in line right there. Maybe a quick exit off. Nope, does not look like it. Marco Mitchell will take the win in heat race number 2.
Yeah. And again, the 15 of Swede Melgaard, excellent bounce back after that contact and wall ride. He definitely two-wheeled it there. Did excellent on that one. Cody Heathcock brings it home third. Jonathan Henry fourth. And Chris, again, as we had talked about, was the worst on the receiving end of that contact that sent both himself and the 15 of Swede Melgaard to the wall. Rounds out your top 5. As we're getting ready to line up in the next heat. So far, Jeremy, these heats have not disappointed one bit, and we're only slowly inching towards that A main. Now, that A main will be 35 laps of racing action, and by 35 laps, we mean 35 green flag laps. This is dirt, baby. We don't half-ass anything. Our caution laps don't count. Those are green flag laps only.
Yeah, I wish a lot of racing entities would adopt that, but, that's here or there. But, yep, 35 true green flag laps only. I'm going to take you over the running order of heat race number 3 real fast. Jason Gunnels, top spot in this heat. Dylan Simmons, second. Christopher Hill in third. Andrew Jessen in fourth. And Joshua Pack will round out fifth place. As Dustin, we have about a lap and a half before we see these guys get at it for 6 laps of their own.
Yeah, it's going to be excellent racing action. Again, a lot of returners in this one here. We do have Gunnels in there. Christopher Hill, Joshua Pack back from last season. Going to be some good racing action. We got to see the 133 of Dylan Simmons in racing action last night as he stomped the doors off of you and I. So again, a lot of good racing talent in this heat here. And so far overall, Jeremy, there has been some fantastic racing talent in this season opener of the Nerditude Street Stock Series here at Volusia.
Absolutely, yeah. We got a half a lap left until they go green. Looks like Jason is ready to go for sure with that chrome pink number. I like that. It's kind of a cool contrast color there, what he's got going on. Just waiting on that pace truck ever so impatiently, and there he goes. Green flag's going to wave right now as Jason does hit the go pedal quicker than Dylan entering turn number 1. Let's see if he can hold that line. No heavy contact, actually, tire to tire, really. Another 3 wide for the race lead.
Yeah, so again, tire contact. You've seen it sent both of those cars up the track there, but both drivers able to hold on to it. As we do have the 26 of Andrew Jensen was holding that lead, got pushed up the track there a little bit as he went to the midline. We do have Gunnels is really gunning on that high side, though. Really trying to put it to it, but Andrew Jensen is not giving up on that low side. Crossover by Gunnels. Gunnels under a lot of pressure from 33. Contact made. Heavy contact into the yellow tires there. Taking out Gunnels, taking out Simmons, and taking out Chris Hill. Chris Hill is the one that's able to rebound and get back going again, but that completely opens it up for Andrew Jensen, who has now got clean track ahead of him. And the only person behind him that is close right now is that 24 of Joshua Pack.
The top car in heat race number 2 and number 3 both wiped out on lap number 2, so it's almost identical as far as that scenario goes. But, man, that was heavy impact. And, yeah, that's going to leave Andrew basically just taking this thing home as long as he keeps it straight. With 2 laps to go, Joshua Pack's pretty far behind him, and pretty far behind him is your third place car, is Christopher Hill as well. So that's really unfortunate for Jason. That heavy impact. It was like a domino effect where, they all got bundled up in the same kind of position exiting the corner, and it just a bump after bump, and that's what happened. And those tires, they're not so forgiving in iRacing compared to real life. Heavy impact. Good thing they get a quick repair there before the main event, Dustin, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's the bad thing about that one, like I said, is 2 out of the 3 cars there were teammates, all part of the Hot Lap Heroes team. So it's probably going to be a little bit of talking down in there. But again, a lot of these drivers here, they show up and they do this for fun. They enjoy doing it. It's excellent racing. And the important thing is to know is this is a heat race. So yeah, you hit the tires, you flipped, you put on a hell of a acrobatic, maneuver there. But you're still going to be here for the main. You still got this. As it sits right now with 20 drivers, there should not be any Conzi race, and there should not be any eliminations. So everybody you see running here should be making that A main show for the Mini Motorsport Doors 35.
Absolutely, yes. As we get set up now for our final heat race of this evening, 4 out of 4. We'll see Dane Lloyd, one of the fast guys from last season. He will start off this heat racing first. Brandon Verasso in second. Zach Burnett third. Wayne Burris in fourth. And David Lester in fifth. So this should be another one of those races to where we got a couple newcomers and some seasoned vets that know how to get this job done on the same track for this little stint here. So once again, we should probably see some more high intensity racing here in these next 6 laps.
Yeah, now a couple of these drivers that are in this one here, we did see, as I stated earlier in the pre-race show presented by Martin Sports, we did see they did get track time yesterday on here. So we did see Dane Lloyd yesterday, part of the Hot Lap Heroes team. We did see Burris yesterday as well. Lester was also racing yesterday. So again, we had a number of drivers that did get some track time yesterday, trying to prep for this, the big race, the big money payout, being tonight. So with that being said, this is our 4th and final heat. Pace truck is pulling off. These drivers are ready to go. Green flag flies. Dane Lloyd in that number 9 is on the gas pedal, slips it a little bit of push to get him back up to speed by that 14Z of Burnett. And you have the 198 of Brandon Verasso is now taking that lead. Dane Lloyd getting a lot of pressure from that 98 of Burris. Burris really getting that midline going right now, Jeremy, which is a very scary thing at times as he's really putting pressure on. But again, Burris and Lloyd battling back and forth like that is allowing that 198 of Verasso to pull out and stretch that lead out a little bit more.
Yeah, that's exactly what he wants to see, is side-by-side racing on back of him. So Wade Burris wasting no time getting that high line going. Does clear Dane Lloyd, who drops back to third place after starting in first. And now Wade's got his eyes set solely on Brandon here, as he's got about 3 car lengths or so. He actually slipped up quite a bit there on next to turn number 2. So he's got a few car lengths to gain if he's going to make a good run on the Brandon right now. But Brandon's car right now is just stout. I'm not seeing any slip up, any extra wheel work. He's just doing a good job. You see Wade right there doing a little slide job, trying to get some extra momentum and just not pushed up really too far, Dustin, and then outside of the normal racing groove. And it's allowed the 9 of Dane Lloyd and the 14Z of Zach Burnett to make a run on his inside.
Yeah, Zach Burnett's trying to bump the back end of Lloyd there, trying to give him a little bit of push. Lloyd now drifts up the track in front of the 98 of Burris. Contact made between the 98 of Burris and the 14Z of Burnett. Both drivers able to collect it back up. They pull back into their respective positions, but now that puts the 14Z of Zach Burnett under fire from the 044 of David Lester as he's on that inside. Jeremy, this is allowing that 198 of Brandon Verasso to really stretch that lead out. Dane Lloyd, the closest one to him right now, trying to chase him down, but just not going to have enough time.
Yep, Brandon does take the top spot right there by like 5 or 6 car lengths, so kind of relatively easy for him. That car's looking really good. I think that's going to set him up for success here if he can maintain that kind of momentum for the future. We do have 5 minutes to warm up, so any last-minute changes they need to make, time to do it now.
Absolutely, and as you see, these drivers are taking the track for their 5-minute warm-up. Before we hit the big show, we are going to take a short break here, pay a couple bills, and kind of relax here a little bit, allow these drivers to try to make those last-minute tune-ups, last-minute changes to these setups, again, before we hit the big show for 35 green flag racing laps of action here at Volusia Speedway. And welcome back again from the short commercial break. We have about 45 seconds left in this warm-up session, which separates our heat races from our main event for the Mini Motorsport Doors 35. Drivers are trying to get last-minute track time practice in, trying to make those final adjustments, trying to get as much speed as what they possibly can. And at the same time, Jeremy, they are trying to get that groove and that line set in as much as possible. We do know, again, with 20 cars out there, that's a lot of drivers racing out there. A lot of them wearing that track down. This is the time you're really going to start seeing a lot of that sheen and a lot of that shininess start to come in, as that track will start to get slick as glass.
Yeah, it really will. For sure. It's definitely already there. You're going to see the outside pick up pretty early from the drop of the green flag. That is for sure. Kind of going over the leaderboard here. One person that really benefited from those heat races would be Joshua Pack, who qualified like almost dead last. And he's going to be starting, I think, in 7th if my board serves me correctly. Yeah, 7th place. So he went from 19th to 7th. That's huge as far as that heat race goes. You know, he caught that wreck and just went right by it, and all of a sudden he, got rewarded gratefully for that. So, interesting to see what the pack does with him. But it did look like, though, his times were picking up in that warm-up session. Maybe he did find something to kind of maintain in that position, maybe even push a little bit further. As you're about to see 20 cars, I think for the first or second time since we've been hosting Over the Limit, grid for Volusia. If it's anything like last night, that's 20 cars on the street stocks, did amazing. And I'm expecting nothing different since it's their own customized setups at this point. We got some teamwork going on that you probably don't see as much as what you do in the Fix series. So this should be a hell of a race for sure.
Yeah, it should be. A lot of these drivers, again, like you stated, are custom setups. So these drivers have been putting in some lap times. I was surprised as you were talking about Joshua Pack like that. And folks, that's exactly why we tell you, qualifying is great. Pulling that quick time is great. But again, heat races are what set that starting field. Easily jumped a driver over halfway up the field out of the 20-car field. Jumped him about 13 positions. So, I mean, that's where it's at.
Yeah, to flip-flop that, Chris, who starting in 18th, he qualified second, I do believe. So that just really shows you, what those heat races are worth. In this case, he's got a lot to work to do. We do what we call a Delaware restart at Over the Limit when these dirt cars in any series that they host. Essentially, you'll see if there's a caution, you will see the lead car be by himself. The second row will be double file, but it'll be second place choice on whether he starts on the inside or outside. And then everybody else behind them is double file once again, but they are opposite of what iRacing tells them.
Green flag.
You see the pace truck dip down. Green flag is out and underway on the Mini Motorsport Doors 35, Dustin.
Yeah, as you see, the 11 of Shane Yates is jumping down to that bottom side, taking an early lead on here, but still getting some pressure from behind. You do have that 26 back there of Andrew Jessen. Again, sorry, we were pronouncing that Jensen. It is Jessen. Wow, the 11 of Yates slips up the track 3 wide racing as he is 07 of Mitchell squeezes it in between himself and Jessen to take that lead in that midline, but you still have the 11 of Yates contact made back there between the 15 of Melgard. Melgard's still able to keep it going. Again, racing action all over the place here, Jeremy, as we've got 3 wide in the back. I see Cody Heathcock back there taking it 3 wide as well between him and Lloyd and that 198 of Verasso as well. So again, that's the great thing about this track is you can push it 3 wide and have room. You just got to be careful about those corners.
I've seen 4 wide twice in the back, and once again they are 4 wide for the third time. Chris Eberly is really trying to make a pushback to get back to where he was. He's already picked up 3 spots since the restart, or since the main start rather. We see Jonathan Henry right in front of him get a little bit of sideways, a little contact with the 33, no problem. And now Chris is on the mission to pass him, as well as the 33 or the 033 rather of Justin Simmons as well. He is on the move, Dustin.
Yeah, a lot of these drivers trying to make up what they lost in the heat races, completely opposite of what the 24 of Joshua Pack did, where he made up in the heat races. But like you said, Jeremy, I mean, this right here goes to show you the quality of racing that these drivers have as they're going 2 and 3 wide up towards the front. We have a gaggle going on nose to tail. You got the 11 of Yates is pushing the 07 and Mitchell. Swede Melgard on that inside now, almost 4 wide for the lead. As Swede's on the inside, slips up a little bit of tire contact, 3 wide with the 26 of Justin in the bottom. We are racing wild and hard. Jeremy, there is about 8 to 9 cars right here, no joke, within a tenth of a second.
All right, man.
Last lap, they exited. Hold on, we have a caution on the track for the first time this evening. We're going to go back and take a look at who it was. Initial observation was Christopher Hill. In the 5 car, the 5 car just ramped the exit of turn number 4 wall, did a little 50-50 grind, hit the wall once again, and then he came down and collected actually the 14Z of Zach Burnett. So Zach with some pretty decent damage as well from that. I do believe, Dustin, that they do carry a 1 fast repair. So I think the 5 of Christopher Hill and the 14Z of Zach Burnett might want to take that advantage and do so since they're already in the back.
Yeah, it was hard impact. The 5 of Chris Hill tried everything to get that back under control again, but it just kept bouncing off of the wall there. And unfortunately, the 14Z of Zach Burnett, our defending series champion, had nowhere to go and was not expecting that quick tap on there. Tore up race cars already. You are correct. There is a fast repair. But again, these drivers have 35 laps. They got to be very careful on when they choose to utilize that fast repair.
Yeah, I think those two both right in the wall. I think they had no choice, and plus they're already in the back, so what's to lose, right? So they definitely, I would have used it in my case as well. So they're going to be freshened up, ready to go. I know Zach's hungry, being the defending champion. I know he's hungry to go out there and show some power, but these guys are definitely, they've revamped on that little offseason they had there for 6 weeks, and they're showing some muscle, and they want to be, we got a little bit of an incident there. Earned the pace laps.
We're not going green.
I think the 198 was involved a little bit there, and his car seemed to blink out afterwards. I'm going to take a quick look at that, Dustin, there off exit, or in the middle of turn 1 and 2. I don't know if you caught that as well as Chris. Brake checked, and then, actually Chris hit the back of the 198. So he's got some nose damage as well, by the way.
Yeah, so it's a little bit of contact that was made here that caused some issues that was going on. So again, it's like you had stated, a lot of drivers definitely hit the books. They hit the tracks. We have seen a level of competition here just when we didn't think the level could have gotten any higher than what we had broadcasted last season. These drivers have come out and showed us a completely different scenario, and the level of competition is increased exponentially. Yes, that's a very big word. No, you're not going to hear me say that very often. Pace truck is off. Green flag does fly. Mark Mitchell does lead it, but he's got the 15 of Swede Melgard all over his ass end. Swede dives down to the low side, has the 26 of Jessen in tail. Swede Melgard now on that high, or on that midline. You got the 07 on that high side. Melgard will clear him, and may not, as the 07 is making a run back. Swede does clear him. You got the 26 of Jessen back there on the inside of the 9 at Lloyd. Those two are duking it out for that third position. You have the 720 of Jackie Whaley is back there as well. It's starting to space out a little bit. Cody Heathcock has bounced back, as now you're starting to see these drivers go 2 by 2 by 2 by 2, 3 wide back there in the back. Jeremy, there is racing action all over the place. These guys just picked up right where they left off before that caution.
Yeah, 100%. Chris Eberly is into the top 10 now after going back to almost dead last there on the initial start. So it's only taken him 10 laps to do so. So in that pace, he might be back up there and contending for the top 5 or even the race win. So I'm going to keep my eye out on Chris as well. But yeah, racing all the way in the back. 98, a little bit of contact there in the back of the 17. Exiting turn number 2, no problem there. He gathered it up. He just lost a few spots. They're side by side back there still. 3 wide actually for second place there momentarily. Nothing more that your race leader right now, Swede Melgaard, wanted to see. Is it's still 3 wide actually. Entering turn number 3 here. Dane's got his nose in there just barely to call it 3 wide. And huge contact there into the inside wall. Multiple cars involved. Caution is out.
Caution is out.
Yeah, just looked like there was a little bit of check up there. And once one car started going, as close as these drivers are running, Jeremy, there is no room for error. So the amazing part is, and I'm going to sit here and shout out to the Fat Caterpillar himself, Rich Malagani out there on YouTube land, shouted out, said, dude, you are good. I can't do that. He says he'll stick to pavement. That goes to show you exactly the room for error is almost non-existent in these cars, and these drivers are doing this, and believe it or not, they are in control most of the time. You can never be 100% in control of these dirt cars. That's the whole point of dirt, is to slide. So, but the fact that we have 20 cars out there pulling laps, and we are, pushing 24 laps to go right now, Jeremy. We've only had 2 cautions, and we have seen 2x2x2x2 racing. We've seen 3 wide racing. We've seen 4 wide racing, and more than one situation and time have we seen this already tonight.
Absolutely, yeah. I was going back and looking over that replay a little bit. It looked like Dane Lloyd got in the back of the 26 entering turn number 3, which did cause that. And one of the drivers involved was Cody Heathcock, which is one of the guys that you had mentioned, making a comeback, being in 6th place when you did call him out in position. Now he's in back of the field. He has all that work to redo once again. We see these drivers go 2x2x2. Looks like they got about a lap and a half before they go green, and you see that Delaware formation sorting itself out as Swede is going to take sole possession of first place. But yeah, these cautions, once you get them going, they're hard to stop because you bundle these guys up, and there's the anticipation and the anxiety and whatever else you'll call it. The adrenaline's all kicked up as you get closer and closer to the checker flags, and so when you have these cars all bundled up, later in the race, it's just nothing but exciting on our part for sure, but I'm sure it's a lot of work for the drivers to kind of maintain their spot and not get involved in the wreck.
Yeah, it definitely is. As we're taking a blimp view here of these cars, I tell you what, it's a beautiful thing to see all these dirt cars out there. But it is a tough situation to be in on that when you don't have any room for an error whatsoever. But these drivers are doing a fantastic job as the pace truck is off. Green flag does fly. Swede Melgaard out front in that 15 car, but he has the 9 of Lloyd back there on that inside lane, and also has a 07 of Mitchell on that high side. Mitchell and Lloyd are going at it for that second position, allowing Melgaard to try to stretch it out, but not really stretching it out all too much, Jeremy. Again, they are 2x2x2 all the way back. Race in action is, again, picking up right where it left off. We do have a caution. Got a car sideways. Looks like it's Joshua Pack back there. He does collect another vehicle. I don't know if that was the 24 of Pack or if it was the 10 of Austin Yates, as they both have a blue car on that one there, Jeremy.
Yeah, I was actually kind of watching it as you were calling the drivers a little bit ahead of them, and they actually were basically 4 wide exiting turn number 4. You can't do that on the exit of 4. It's almost nearly impossible. So Jonathan Henry did get sandwiched into the wall by Jason Gunnels and the 5 car as well of Christopher Hill. And so there was the 24, I do believe, Joshua Pack, who got some damage. You did call that correctly. He did some good avoidance. He just got door slapped a little bit there on the right front, so really no damage to him, at least from my perspective. I can't see if his toe's knocked out, but Once again, multiple guys involved, and that's what I was talking about earlier. The cautions do breed the cautions, and you are seeing it live.
Yeah, and like you said, we just went back and we were watching it live as you were explaining it. 4 wide never works going through these corners. You can pull it going down that wide sweeping stretch, but somebody has got to give before going into that next corner because it is not going to work out.
No, it maybe on the backstretch here for a short bit, but yeah, you can't hold it through the whole corner, especially turn 4, because it pinches off so hard. On exit. Maybe turn 2 you can get away with it because it is sweeping a lot more. It's almost like Richmond for those people that are on the asphalt side, NASCAR related and whatnot. So it's kind of like that track, but the front stretch is on the back stretch. So it's a little bit reversed. But other than that, yeah, it's really tight turn 4, and you just can't go 4 wide. It's just not possible. But we do see the pace truck lights are currently off. That means we're going back to green flag, this time by Swede Melgaard. Still holding your top spot here in tonight's Mini Motorsport Door 35. We do see the pace truck finally dip down. Green flag is out right away. Swede Melgaard with a hell of a restart. Pulling about a 2-car length advantage over Dane. Is Dane now going 3 wide? Contact and another spin. It's going to cause another caution. Multiple cars.
Multiple cars on that one there. That was a tough hit, and I believe that actually started with the 117 of Johnny Nolan on that one. Getting loose going into that corner, unfortunately, and again, he was running right up in that 4th or 5th position, and it stacked up the entire racing field, Jeremy, on that one there. We are going back to watch that replay. That was right there at the start. Again, almost 3 wide instantly. A little bit of tire contact, goes into the next corner, gets real sideways on that one there. Has to check up, and again, and that actually almost looked like he was checking up for the 33 and the 9, so that would have been the 033 of Simmons and the 9 of Lloyd as that happened. But again, there was a lot of cars that were starting to really stack up in that one. So that could have been why the 117 of Nolan was slowing up on that one. Either way, at the front of the field, Jeremy, it's expected to happen because there's no place to go.
Another NASCAR reference, the big one, if you're a super speedway fan, that just basically happened at Volusia Speedway here tonight. Trying to do a quick tally on cars here. I think I saw at least 7 cars that got involved in one shape or form of another. So that's a lot of cars, and we did see a turtle with Justin Simmons. He did flip it over, which surprisingly yesterday, I think almost every wreck that we did see had one of those flips. So I don't know what the setup difference is, but these cars are definitely a little more prone to flipping over, that's for sure, at least initially on this first race of the season opener. But as we go back live here, the pace truck lights are off. It's about to dip. Once again, green flag comes out pretty quick. Swede Melgaard with a great restart. Once again, is going to solidify first place, entering turn number 1. We're on lap now 16 of 35 of tonight's Mini Motorsport Door 35. Jackie Whaley, we've talked about him a little bit, but not much. But now he's in second place, fighting off right now third place of Marco Mitchell, who's been in the top 5 for the most part tonight. Jackie does clear his nose on the exit of turn number 4, and look who's on the bottom 3 wide. Chris Eberly, the guy who started almost dead last after having a really good qualifying run, and he came up to the field faster than what I thought, Dustin. And some contact, actually, and they're trying to wreck another wreck, another caution.
Caution is out.
And that one I was about ready to say that they were really starting to get close there going in. Now, you can do 3 wide. We've seen it a number of times at the start of this race. But the way that they were racing, all 3 of them were really starting to pinch each other down, and they were getting really close, so they weren't giving each other as much room. Now, granted, we still have 19 laps to go in this race. There's still plenty of laps. Now, I understand it's dirt racing. The tracks are smaller. The laps tick off a lot faster. But there's still a lot of time on that one there. And it's that one, none of the drivers wanted to give an inch, which is why they were really starting to get close and start to pinch each other off on that one. And 3 cars cannot occupy the same physical space. That's what's going to happen every time.
Yeah, we get the luxury of having a virtual camera system. So my Farce Chase camera it shows. It was definitely a racing deal. I'm not putting the blame on anybody, but Jackie Whaley did kind of come down a little bit for sure, right? Did cause a little bit of contact to initiate that, and then when he turned back up right, he did collect another card there. I gotta see who that was. Can't tell initially. It was actually the 14 of Zach Burnett. So that's a third incident. I do believe he was involved in tonight in 17 laps. He just can't catch a break, Dustin.
No, definitely not the way that our defending series champion wanted to start this season off. Has been finding himself in the wrong place at the wrong time, and sometimes that is the way of racing. Again, he had it hard back there, qualifying 12th. So it put him in a tough situation as it is, and he cannot catch a break, like you said, Jeremy. What these drivers need to do on this one, and like you said, it's when I was calling that, it's all three drivers were trying to race. I'm not putting blame on any one driver. That's a racing thing. It's bound to happen. But what these drivers need to do is they got to realize there's still 19 laps to go in this Mini Motorsport Doors 35 A main. They need to. There's a time for that, big time. To really push that issue. And right now, when you're trying to tick some of the laps off and to risk ruining a car when you do not have that many fast repairs, again, they're limited to one quick repair. It's not the time to risk it with 19 laps to go. You definitely want to try to keep the fenders on that car as long as possible.
100%. The admin, Kenny, was trying to allow Zach to get his damage fixed. He did have a meatball. But he did tell him, don't worry about me. My car is beyond repair. So they're going back to green flag waiting. What you see right now, Swede's he's got a good restart point there on the exit of turn 4, and he's able to get cleared of basically anyone that starts behind him, Dustin. Marco clear on second, and then as you see, Chris Eberly is now sole possession of third. I think he'll be up there within the next 5 or 10 laps if we can keep a green flag run.
Yeah, I'm back here watching these drivers. They're running hard back here, 3 and 4 wide. Almost had an accident there. As it looked like the 5 of Chris Hill was trying to pull down into the exit of pit road and finally took it off the track. But they were running hard back there between the 5 of Hill and the 194 of Heathcock. The 7H of Jonathan Henry was back there as well. But coming back up front again, like you said, Chris Eberly's really trying to make up that ground there, really putting the pressure on the 07 of Mark Mitchell right now. But he's got to be careful.
Bottom that just wasn't there, and he looped it around. Sole car this time around, but at the same time, it was in front of a bunch of other cars, almost the whole field. So iRacing officials called that correctly and threw the caution for the safety of the drivers. Also wanted to notate, too, Christopher Hill and John Nolan both have backed out of tonight's event. I think they had some damage as you were calling them a few minutes ago, and so their cars they're not driving good, and without the caution coming out, they were they were out of it. So unfortunate to see that happen. It's 4 total cars out of tonight's main event here in the Mini Motorsport Door 35. It's getting pretty exciting, Dustin. We're down to 13, 14 laps to go at this point, and I can definitely see it from my perspective that anxiety and everything, the adrenaline's just it's pumping right now.
Yeah, and I went back and was watching the replay feed of the 133 of Dylan Simmons, and like you said, he tried to find room down there in that wall, got his fender wall glued there, and it just whipped him. We actually went on board with the 26 of Andrew Jessen, who just missed clipping the ass end of Simmons there, and that was a pretty close call there. Good heads up driving by the 26 of Jessen. Like you said, Jeremy, 14 laps to go by the time we get rolling here. It's starting to get down to crunch time right now, as you're seeing these drivers are getting a little bumpy right now, trying to time that jump there as a green flag does come out. Unfortunately, that just helped the 15 of Swede Melgard jump out to an early lead on that one there. But the 01 of Chris able to bounce back into that second position, but right now under fire from the 07 of Mark Mitchell. Very close racing right there between those two. Jeremy, I tell you what, this is exactly what the 15 of Swede Melgaard is wanting to see right now. He's wanting to see these two duke it out, because if they're racing each other, they're not chasing him down right now, and he's just ticking laps away.
It's exactly what he wants to see. There's nothing better right now in his eyes, but it looked like Chris has finally cleared him. Marco was putting on a hell of a fight, too. Like, the inside has no grip right now, and so for him to maintain at least that kind of momentum over Chris, who has one of the dominant cars this evening, I was really surprised that he was able to hold that. But Marco actually got a little bit of contact there from fourth place of Andrew right there, and up he slides up again. So it looks like actually he's starting to fall to the wayside a little bit. His car's starting to fall off a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know what happened in that corner there. It almost looked like he had got a little bit of a bump there, but it looked like from the camera angle, his contact is made as they were three wide. Big, heavy contact.
All right, man, caution is
collecting
out.
gunnels. Oh, car gets airborne on that one. It collects gunnels, collects the 98 of Burris, collects the 07 of Mitchell. Hard hits on that one there. I don't know who that was. I think it was Lester that actually went airborne and went tilt-a-whirl style. bad wreck. The unfortunate thing is we don't know who has used their fast repairs and who has not. But with a hit like that, I would have to believe that Mitchell, if he has not used it, is definitely going to burn that quick repair up to try to get that car back into racing action.
Yeah, I was watching Lester there as right before he got helicoptered and took flight lessons. He did T-bone Marco Mitchell heavy into the inside wall, directly hit on. So, I feel like there's nothing but a fast repair waiting for him if he hasn't used it yet. There's no way. I don't think that car's going to be running up to speed. Lester, of course, being airborne like that, I would imagine he has to use one. I don't think he's been in one wreck tonight, from my count anyway, so... quite a few of these guys, I do believe, have a fast repair left, so that's going to be a huge benefit to them with about 12 or 13 laps to go. I think we got about a lap and a half left before the green flag, and so we'll see at this point what kind of condition these cars are in.
Yeah, as it sits right now, I don't know if anybody has anything. If we keep going through restarts like this, we know from last season that 15 car that's sitting up on that top spot right now is probably one of the better restarters when it comes to these Delaware restarts. One thing that we don't know right now, though, is that driver, Chris Everly, right behind him, we have not been able to see him perform, so he is a wild card at this point in time, Jeremy. We don't know what to expect out of him. Again, we don't know. We have the Andrew Jessen back there. Pack is now up in the top 5. I don't know if you noticed that, but he has worked up into the top 5 as well. Jason Gunnels, who was involved in that last incident, does round out your 5th and final position in the top 5. Wade Burris, who was also in that incident, is also up there in the 6th position. So again, we do have a lot of drivers back there. You do have the 7H Jonathan Henry as well as an 8th. You got Dylan Simmons, a 133, who again was in the caution before that, in 9th, and then Dane Lloyd in the number 9 rounds out your top 10. Cody Heathcock just sitting outside of the top 10 as well. Jeremy, this can go any number of ways right now as we watch these drivers. A lot of fast drivers. We already know they are not shying away from pushing this thing 3 wide or even 4 wide at times if it calls for it. They're not shy whatsoever when it comes to that. So what that's telling me is this is just brewing together right now with 8 laps to go. It's going to build up to a wild and crazy finish.
Yeah, I expect maybe one more caution for sure. These guys are definitely on it and looking to get every ounce possible. Chris needs to put a lot of pressure on Swede to get that top spot from him, because that car is just running absolutely amazing right now. Joshua Pack in 4th. That's a great recovery for him, because he was involved in at least one of those wrecks earlier on. Green flag is out. Swede with an excellent restart once again. Is going to take a 2-car length advantage over Chris, entering turn number 2 here. And they remain single file. What's under 10 laps to go, that is a thing to where they always do single file restarts from that point forward. So nothing out of the norm there. Looks like Zach Burnett putting some huge moves in the back there, doing a huge slide job to clear out a position right now, and it gets him the top spot over the next car. Looking to pass Wade there as he gets a little loose actually and holds it. Almost had a wreck there, but luckily we're staying green, Dustin.
Yeah, again, these drivers are really trying their hardest. Right now, Chris Eberly is really trying to put the pressure on Swede Melgaard right now for that top spot. Got 6 laps to go right now under green. These two drivers are pulling away from Andrew Jessen right now, who is solidly in that 3rd spot. Behind him is Pack, and then it's a gaggle of cars, 3 wide between Gunnels, Burris, and who was that other one there? Was that Dylan Simmons? Yes, in the 133, 3 wide back there running it. Pack on the high side. Looks like Wade Burris is sliding up the track. You got the 720 of Jackie Whaley trying to make his way up. 3 wide contact between Burris and Gunnels there. In the OJ, we're going to call that man the Juice. That's a number change from him from last season, which is why it's kind of thrown us off a little bit. But he is racing hard and heavy like he always has. So again, these drivers are putting on a hell of a show in the back here, trying to battle for every inch. Again, points are at stake, so every position does count, Jeremy.
Yeah, it's hard to keep our eyes on the top 3 when you got a hell of a good racing like this in the back here. There's still 3 wide hashing it out. And this time it's with Joshua Pack. As you see, Wade take over 4th place here. But I'm going to kick it back over to leaders because we got 2 laps to go. Swede maintaining a pretty decent length over Chris here. So as long as he keeps that car nice and straight, I think he's got this in the bag for sure. Going back to the 4th, 5th, and 6th place, they're still hashing it out. They're kind of maintaining spot at the moment. Going back to Swede again. Sorry, going to the white flag here. I want to keep my eyes on him as he's just going to coast it through the inside line here a little bit. No pressure whatsoever. It looks like Swede's going to take the top spot tonight. Chris gone from qualifying 2nd to starting 18th and now going to finish in 2nd place as checker flag is out. Swede Melgaard, your winner of tonight's season opener, the Mini Motorsport Door 35.
Yeah, like you said, Chris Eberly taking 2nd. You got Andrew Jessen taking 3rd. Gunnels, out of that gaggle that was behind him battling for 4th, does take that 4th spot, and Wade Burris does finish out in the top 5. But I tell you what, as the top 3 podium finishers were wearing out and just stretching it out amongst themselves, Jeremy, that battle back there for 4th on through 8th, easy, was putting on a hell of a show. On that one. So that was a crazy battle. And I have to chuckle too after our comments. I have to shout out Pure J-Man, Jackets 24. They're going on about Zach should be top 5, justice for Zach for number 14Z. So after our comments about him being in the wrong place at the wrong time all night tonight, his hashtags are starting to come to life there.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. I love the enthusiasm in the chat. Keep it coming, and we got one more race tonight too, so please stay tuned and bring that energy, baby. That's awesome. Yeah, they do their top three of their front row picture on the front stretch to give tribute to the first 3 finishers in tonight's race. I'm going to quickly go down the race order here as we let the drivers settle in and whatnot. Swede Melgaard, as mentioned, congratulations. He has won the race, the season opener tonight. Chris Eberly in 2nd, Andrew Jessen in 3rd, Jason Gunnels 4th, Dylan Simmons 5th, Wade Burris 6th, Dane Lloyd 7th, Jackie Whaley 8th, Joshua Pack 9th, Justin Simmons in 10th, Jonathan Henry in 11th, Cody Heathcock 12th, Austin Yates 13th, David Lester after going helicopter late in the race 14th, Marco Mitchell 15th, and then the other guys who had to park early, unfortunately, it's 5 cars. Zach Burnett, Christopher Hill, John Nolan, Shane Yates, and Brandon rounds out the field tonight in 20th. Yeah,
so again, excellent, showing here for the Nerditude Street Stock Series and for the season opener, 20 drivers. I mean, with that many drivers on the track for an A main, you got to expect a couple cautions, which was not out of the ordinary, Jeremy, that we did have a couple cautions. But, I mean, with as much 2 wide, 3 wide, 4 wide racing, and at swear at least at one time it was 5 wide, is however they fit that on there. Have the amount of cautions we had was a small number in comparison to the race in action and what could have been if these drivers were not at the peak skill levels that they currently are.
Yeah, absolutely. I think as these guys have gone down the pit road and got out of their cars, I think the interviewers are ready. I think we're ready to talk to third place newcomer, Mr. Andrew Jessen. Andrew, you got a copy, man. Andrew, it looks like you're muted at the moment. Do you have a copy? No problem. As we got him working on that, we're going to actually bring in a second place finisher, Mr. Chris Eberly. Chris, congratulations on second place on the season opener. How did it go for you?
All right, that's better.
He qualified good. Had some bad luck. Had to start in the back. Made it up there and just fell short.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a roller coaster there, being starting up in second place. Had some bad incident there in the heat race, and then making your way back. I was rooting on for you, man. You were doing pretty good. How'd you manage when you were back in 18th? How did you manage to get back up to the second place finish?
Oh man, I just patient, slow rolled the bottom. Tried to stay out of trouble. I had some front end damage. Kind of messed me up a little bit, but for the most part, I stayed clean.
Yeah, that you did indeed. Stayed clean. Now, working your way back up there, like I said, the heat race was a very unfortunate situation that took place, but I mean, it's something that you have probably come to understand when it comes to dirt racing. How did you find yourself not being involved in a couple of those incidents? And again, I mean, a lot of them were racing incidents. I mean, the racing action was 3, 4 wide there at times. How did you find yourself not in those situations to put yourself there at the end to nab a podium finish in your first start here?
Well, I run with a lot of the people, so you get comfortable running around certain people and you just kind of anticipate, the mistakes. And sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you don't. I got lucky tonight. And,
you know probably better than I that luck is 50% of the game when it comes to racing. You did a hell of a job running out there. That was something that we had made mention about. Some of the drivers benefited from heat races. You were not on that caliber there that benefited from the heat races at all. But I tell you what, you turned a negative and definitely turned it into a positive, taking a podium finish on that and doing it in, just gracious style as well. With that being said, what are your expectations right now? This being the season opener, it was a hell of a turnout. A lot of good drivers, a lot of good racing all the way around. What is your expectation for this season for Over the Limit, for the league and for you? Is this can we expect to see you coming back each and every week?
Yeah, I'll be back each and every week. I want to win. I'm coming for the points. I'm trying to win it all. There
you go. Spoken like a true racer at heart. That's what everybody wants to do. Every racer wants to win, and they want to take it all. And you know what? It'd be good for that 14Z of Zach Burnett to have more competition to try to dethrone him from his defending points championship from last season. So again, congratulations on an excellent run. But this is your time. Have anybody you want to shout out to? Any sponsors you want to give thanks to?
I just want to thank my teammates at NFG. My buddy, he makes my paints. That's about it.
All right. And I tell you what, again, congratulations. We look forward to seeing you again next week in Race in Action, or here in a short bit if you are a Big Block fan. Again, first time that we've been able to call you, so we don't know exactly what you like to run. But either way, we look forward to seeing you again on the track. So again, congratulations. We're going to give you this time here to go and celebrate, and we look forward to seeing you again.
Yeah, thank you. I'll see you at the big blocks.
All right. Sounds like a plan. Again, that is Chris Eberly. That is your second place runner up. Jeremy, I do believe, do we have our third place finisher, Mr. Jessen? Did I hear him key up just before we had Chris on there?
You sure did. It looks like it. Andrew, congratulations on your podium finish here to kick off the season opener. How was it out there tonight, man?
It was rough, we had to get through a tough field, I got some good teammates out there, awesome racing, I love, driving this stuff. This is my first time with you guys over at Over the Limit. I had a blast so far.
Well, that's good to hear. Yeah, apologize on the mute there. That was my end there. It's nothing on your end, so my mistake. But nonetheless, you pretty dominant performance for the most part. I didn't really see you creep outside the top 5 too much. You just had a really stout car. Was that something that was developed with your teammates? Did you use their setup? Did you work on your own? Like, what kept you up there in the top 5?
Yeah, I got some good teammates out there. Some other teammates that aren't part of our team necessarily, but all work together. iRacing is a whole. Everybody comes together as one. We're all willing to help each other. But I had some good teammates that threw a setup my way. We worked on it through warm up and heat races, and we made it work. I had a couple incidents there where I started all the way back in the back with one of my teammates, and then I was able to work back through the field, and crazy stuff.
Crazy stuff indeed, and you were able to work back through the field. And did a fantastic job doing so. As you were coming back through the field, I mean, there were a number of incidents that did happen in front of you. One of those, I tell you what, and I even shouted out during the live broadcast as well, that it was a damn good bit of heads-up driving that you did, was when the 133 of Simmons wall glued the left front fender of his car, and it just kicked him completely sideways right in front of you. Tell us a little bit about that, because I tell you what, your heads-up driving, man, you snapped that car real good, and it could have been a whole lot worse and probably ruined your night. But you were able to pull through it. Tell us a little bit about that.
Oh yeah, as soon as I saw him hit that wall, I had enough distance. I was working the bottom the whole night. I thought it was the fastest lane, and obviously it shows that it's pretty quick, even though it was slick. But him just having that little bit of space between me and him, I was able to pull out of line and avoid him, and have your team
here. It absolutely is, because we do know that many drivers do not run with that virtual mirror in these cars. They keep it as real as possible. And with the way that these cars are, you can't see a whole lot to begin with. Not that you can in a lot of race cars, but you did a fantastic job. Like Jeremy said, I mean, besides a couple of those times where you fell to the back and worked your way back up, I mean, you definitely showed that you were a solid contender tonight at this track here. Is this something that we can bank on seeing more frequently here, as we do, I believe, Jeremy, have a 14 race season, I do believe is what it is.
Oh yeah, you could definitely plan to see me in most of these races. I love the fixed stuff. I'm dabbling in the open stuff now, especially with the team with great sets, and definitely be around.
I tell you what, we're glad to hear that. Look forward to seeing that. I will say, Jeremy, you know this from my days of NR2K3. I will say probably one of my favorite cars was yours out there, with that black and white and that Jack Daniels on the side. So I know that I see that smile and that smirk on Jeremy's face on the live stream. So that brings back memories, because that was my sponsor way back in NR2K3. So again, right. So way back when, but I tell you what, it was a good looking race. I mean, you looked really good out there, and we look forward to seeing you again, but this is your time. You earned it on the podium here. You have anybody you want to give a shout out to? Any sponsors, teammates you want to give thanks to?
Just thanks all my guys at the Dirt Kings, Cody, especially Jason Gunnels. I know he's not part of the team technically, but he's a great guy. He's always out there helping us. And then Brandon Verasso, all great teammates, all out there pushing each other to do the best. And I really love a top 3, and great race tonight, everybody. And thank you for keeping it kind of clean, but it's the first start of the season, so we'll keep going from there.
Absolutely. You're always going to have a few hiccups, especially on that season opener, but you start working the kinks out. But I mean, overall, I wouldn't have been too worried about it anyway, especially with the 3 wide and 4 wide racing we've seen. It could have been a whole lot worse. But you know what? Season opener, it's only going to go up from here. But I tell you what, again, excellent job, excellent race. 3rd place finish, podium in the season opener here. Look forward to seeing you out there again, whether it's in the big blocks coming up here soon or next week as we hit, Lanier next week?
Lanier is.
Yes. So again, look forward to seeing that, and congratulations again on your podium finish.
Yeah, thank you guys again for the good hosts and the the league and everything. You'll see me in the big blocks. May not be as good, but you'll see me out there.
All right, and I tell you what, we'll be calling all the action there as well. So again, congratulations. That is your 3rd place finisher, Mr. Andrew Jessen. Again, Jessen, not Jensen. We found that out partway through.
Yeah, you're good. Thank you.
That leaves just one individual, Jeremy, somebody that we haven't interviewed in that top spot for a great many weeks.
Yeah, I did bring him in, Mr. Swede Melgard. We'll keep it a little bit shorter with you. I know we got some practice already underway in the big blocks, but Mr. Swede, congratulations on your victory. You had the car to beat the whole night. Tell us, man, what was the game plan? Was it just go fast the whole way through? Did you expect to be up there the whole time?
No, I didn't know really what to expect. I had some tough luck in the heat race. Kind of got pushed up into the outside wall in the first lap, and made for starting a little bit further back than I'd like to. I was trying to be cautious, not wanting to pit or have to do a quick repair, pick my spots, and then when I got out front, I was trying to run consistent laps, smooth through the middle. And all those cautions made it hard, restart after restart. I was really wanting a long green flag run, but hey, I'm happy to get the win. Feels good.
Yeah, I did comment multiple times on those restarts that you definitely found that sweet spot in the corner. It gave you about a 2-car length advantage each and every restart that you had. You got some good practice out of it, and no one could touch you once ever you got out there. Your car looked pretty fast there on the bottom, too, more so than the top. Was your setup geared toward the bottom, or was that something that you just felt more comfortable with?
It was really geared for the bottom. I didn't go down there and run it just because I didn't have to. If I needed to and it got close at the end, I would have went down there. Running the fixed race last night helped. I found a line in the middle. It was weird how it came in. If you could really be easy on the throttle, you could make the middle work. So I just bottom here. I preferred actually, but it never really played out that way tonight.
I tell you what, didn't play out that way tonight, but it played out in the other way that you wanted it, and that's taking home that win. With that being said, I do know that last season we had talked to you about your plans on trying to make a run for a championship this season here after Zach Burnett locked it in last season. Are those still the plans? Are you looking to try to take that top spot in the point standings at the end of the season?
That's the plan. I hope to make as many races as I can. Kind of have a crazy schedule, busy schedule with a daughter that is active in sports and different things. So I'm going to try to make all the races. Last year, I won a few, but I didn't race enough to be a contender for the championship. So it's the plan to run them all. I'm not sure if they have any drop weeks or not. I have to ask Kenny about that. But yeah, our team, we're going to have a group of us running each and every week. So in the fixed and in the open sets.
And that is excellent because, like I said, you guys always put on a hell of a show. It's always good stuff. On that one there, this is your time because I do know that there is some practice going on for those big blocks, and we don't want to cut it any shorter for you on that one there. But this is your time. I know you got people you want to say thanks to. I know you got sponsors and teammates you want to shout out to.
Yeah, first and foremost, my wife and daughter for putting up with me for racing as much as we do. The team, Hot Lap Heroes, we take it semi-serious. We're fast enough and we're getting faster all the time, but we're not over the top like die-hard fanatics where we got to just sit here and just pound away. But we have a good time, a good group of guys. 789 Designs for keeping us looking fresh. And just the guys at Hot Lap Heroes, all of them, especially Garrett and Kyle that work on the setups. I mean, we're flying in these open setup races, and it's a lot of fun. But to race each and every night with Dane, Clay, it's all the boys. Like Marco had a heck of a race tonight. I really wanted him to get on the podium, and he don't get to run with us as much as he'd like because his schedule is kind of crazy, and he works nights most of the time. But I was happy to see him up front for a little while there.
Absolutely. Again, heck of a run. I mean, I'd say, like Jeremy said, you had those restarts down pat, so you did an excellent job. It was a well-deserved win. season opener. So again, we look forward to seeing what you can do and what you can deliver the rest of the racing season, all 14 scheduled events. But with that, we're going to let you get back to celebrate. We're going to let you get back to hopping in those big block modifieds, and we will look forward to seeing you out there on the track again. Again, congratulations on your win.
Appreciate it, fellas. Thank you for the broadcast and all y'all do. I like to go back and watch the races, and you make it fun. So thanks to you, and I got to give a shout out to Kenny too. Thanks for the league.
Appreciate it.
We appreciate that very much. Again, that is Swede Melgard. That is your A-main winner for tonight's Mini Motorsport Doors 35. Jeremy, I tell you what, it's been a heck of a show so far, but we have got to wrap this up because we've got another one about ready to start up, and it's going to be one hell of a show as we're going to be hitting those big block modifieds. So with that being said, we're going to take a short intermission as we sit here and change gears, and that's both literal and metaphorically, and get ready for those big block modifieds. So don't go anywhere. Stay tuned to those channels. Thank you for everybody that shouted out on there. Again, we appreciate everything that you've done. I know that there's a number of those that were coming in while we were trying to call everything. Again, we love the interaction that you guys got there, and we try to keep up on everything, so keep it going, but don't go anywhere when it comes to your preferred streaming service, as we will be going live here in just a few short moments with the Big Block Modified. So on behalf of myself and Nerditudes, on behalf of Jeremy, Mr. J. Stan, the man, we thank you, and we'll see you here real shortly.